Hi, this is the Profanity Gnome, and I'm here to tell you that if you're under 13 years old, fuck off this video! Get the fuck off YouTube! Get your mama to get your dad's cock out of her ears and actually be a parent! This is for adults only! And for everybody else, enjoy the video. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below what you think, you fuck buckets. Well. Looks like once again an insignificant life falls before the power of Lord Frieza. And now, just for shits and giggles, I'll destroy this whole planet! Did somebody say destruction? Lord Beerus, what are you doing here? I just happened to be passing through getting a snack when I noticed your fight. I thought, why not watch for a bit and get some entertainment before I go home, until one of your ki blasts went a little too close and melted my ice cream. Tell me, Frieza, how am I supposed to enjoy my ice cream without the ice?
Drink it from the cone.
Everything about the ice cream is still there except for the ice part. If you drink it the way it is right now, you can have all the perks without suffering from the effects of a brain freeze. Delightful. Positively delightful. Hey, creature down there, I decided not to destroy you. This is Animaniacs 2020, Episode 9. The episode begins with the Warners. If nothing else, they've been consistent with that this season. And it looks like it's going to be a farming episode. Well, at least it would be if the music can get their act together. Yeah, apparently the music people, or the people behind the background music, can't seem to get their shit together. And it doesn't help that their main director is sort of pompous, egotistical, and the perfect target for the Warners to make fun of. Unfortunately, they may have stepped a little bit too far outside of their comfort zone, because he decided to throw away their original tracks in retaliation and busted out the big guns. Hall of the Mountain King. And apparently this gives him rudimentary power to control the episode's direction. From a farming episode, it turns into a giant castle, where he forces the Warners through music to be, essentially, slaves, doing nothing but chores and sweeping and mopping the castle. And he's enjoying every minute of this unlimited power. He even gets cocky and makes a bunch of Warners all at once. I'm not entirely sure how this is done, but okay. And he forces them all to do nothing but sweep, mop, and clean. And there's nothing the Warners seem to be able to do to fight this ongoing threat. Or at least alone. They decide to go with their usual brand of justice. But this time, they get reinforcements. So, after he composes the next song, all the Warners, and I mean all of them, bust out of the screen, and while he's distracted, kidnap or dump or even just brutally murder all of his orchestra, getting him out of the way so they can take their place. And they give their own version of his music. And thus begins the ultimate showdown of Warners versus the music director, going as far as bringing in cannons for effect. And with one explosion here and dodging cannon fire there, an explosion occurs with a rousing approval and applause from themselves. I think this is the Warner's equivalent of pat yourself on the back, but whatever. And so they punish the would-be director by forcing him into the very episode that they would have starred in before, except this time forcing him to play the most menial of instruments in his eyes, the jug. Technically not even an instrument. And you could see the pain in his eyes. The next part of the episode isn't actually an episode, but just a short where the Warners go up against Tucker Carlson for some reason. I'm not even entirely sure why they're going up against Tucker Carlson. I mean, just from the looks of what was set up, he didn't do anything to them. Why are they mocking him? And the jokes in this little short aren't really even that funny. They just keep saying over and over, that's not the issue. Like, what? What is that referencing? What is that a joke to? I mean, I would love the idea of the Warners going up and debating Tucker Carlson. It's just, I kind of thought it would be smarter, you know? Anyway, this falls under what I've been saying since day one of these reviews. Too much politics. Not enough just wholesome, funny jokes. So, with that, moving on. So, we done here?
Yeah. I must admit, eating the pre-melted ice cream was a stroke of genius. Otherwise, it would have just gone to waste.
Yeah, I always like experimenting with ideas like that, like putting the ice cream in the microwave. That's how I always like to eat it.
Really? You experiment with your local delicacies to make them taste better? What other ideas did you come up with?
Well, have you ever put two slices of different pizza together and made a pizza sandwich?
Weiss! To the nearest Domino's! Pizza sandwich! Bacon cheese fries on cheeseburgers! Reese's Cups and potato chips!
You see, you gotta eat the peanut butter cup first and then 2 potato chips.
Cheesy chocolate! Who would have come up with such an interesting combination?
And now, it's not half bad. The second half mostly consists of Pinky and the Brain. What's his evil strategy this time? Well, Brain had developed the #1 hit movie of the summer. His plan is to try to win an Oscar for it, which, given everything we know about the Oscars nowadays, that's not that much of an accomplishment. But that's not his plan. His plan is to win, and while he's on stage, he plans on using some type of ray gun to freeze all of Hollywood's elite and kidnap them, and strong-arming them to take over the world. I gotta admit, that's a pretty decent plan, taking over the real rulers of America. But before he even gets there, he gets kidnapped. Kidnapped by a familiar face. Himself, from a distant future. Well, after kidnapping him, he kidnaps Pinky and goes through a wormhole. Brain follows, and then this future Brain explains himself. After suffering countless times and countless ploys to take over the world, he has come to a radical conclusion. The reason he couldn't take over the world in the past is all because of Pinky. Pinky is the one Achilles heel that fails in every plan he's ever had, even showing him proof, with one of his plans involving a tennis ball having its power cable being chewed by Pinky. And even in the face of this overwhelming evidence, Brain actually doesn't take his future self's advice and continues to be partners with Pinky. This goes against logic. I mean, if your future self travels back in time and says, this guy is the reason you're a failure, you need to get rid of him, it seems kind of off. At least for Brain, anyway. So he goes back to his original plan. He has Pinky slip the letter for him cheating his way to victory, and while Brain sits there and, wow, that can actually be a good meme template. Anyway, as she reads aloud the winner, it's just a recipe for a cheese pie that Pinky made. Yep, Pinky once again foiled the plan. And this is where Future Brain comes in again and says, See? See? Here's proof. We have to get rid of him, and then the world will be ours. And this causes past or present Brain, God, I hate these time travel bits, to fight his future self. And Pinky grabs the gun. Uh-oh. They do a bit where they're like, which one is his brain? Even though it's kind of obvious, but I think that's part of the joke. And not being able to know which one to shoot, Pinky begins firing all around, and all the bolts bounce off to create wormholes, until eventually Future Brain gets sucked into one. Past Brain is safe thanks to Pinky, and Future Brain is stuck in the past. And so, once again, Brain goes back to the drawing board, trying to figure out what plan next will be able to take over the world.
So, Frieza, can I ask a question? Why did you go on your rampage to begin with? Well, if you must know, I was minding my own business, lecturing my subordinates, when this freaky man came up to me and slapped me in my behind. I can still feel the handprint, and I could have sworn he was aiming for the hole. That ridiculous outfit of his, too. That weird ponytail, and that ridiculous pink jacket.
Did he also have a big nose? Well, the Animaniacs managed to squeeze in another cartoon right at the end again. So, what's this one about? Well, it's apparently about a guy who transformed himself into a gnome trying to unlock immortality. And as a gnome, he does nothing but shout profanities at people, even if they deserve it or not. This seems vaguely familiar. Hold on. Give me a sec. Just a second.
Hey, profanity gnome. What the fuck do you want? Have you been moonlighting? What? Have you been moonlighting to the Animaniacs? What the fuck are you going on about, you shit-eating cum dumpster? Okay, first off, language. Fuck you! I'm just saying, have you been moonlighting work to the Animaniacs? I'll do whatever the fuck I want. You only pay me to say one fucking line every goddamn time I get on the front of your fucking screen, and you don't even have the nerve to give me a fucking screen time. I'll do what I need to. Okay, I just wanted to remind you of your non-compete clause. Fuck you and fuck your non-compete clause. I'll do what I need to make a decent living. You live in the attic, come on. This is a boat, we don't have an attic. We'll talk about this later. Fuck you!
Okay, I'm back. Wait, what does the red light mean?
You never stop recording, numbnuts.
I'm pretty sure we can tape over that, right? And that was Animaniacs 2020 episode 9. What'd I think? Well, the first part of the episode was incredibly enjoyable. Very imaginative, creative, and of course, lots and lots of really good jokes and humor in a creative scenario. I definitely, for one, recommend, at the very least, the first part of the episode, just for a musical take. But then they kind of ruin it with that whole Tucker Carlson jokes bit that they did. And again, that's my own personal preference. I shouldn't have to remind people of that, but I apparently have to. That's the law of the internet. I'm just sick of all the political jokes in the Animaniacs. Then there's the Pinky and the Brain. Fun, creative, interesting episode, but I was very hesitant with Brain's decision to dismiss his future vision's advice. I mean, the guy had proof. The guy had fucking evidence, as well as Brain's current plan failing, all because of Pinky. At the end of the day, he was right. But Brain refused to acknowledge that he himself in the future could be right, and Pinky is the reason why they haven't been able to take over. I feel as though Brain was a little bit too quick on that decision. Maybe if the episode had 20 minutes rather than the usual 10, there might have been something more there, like an era of distrust. But again, that's a pacing issue. And of course, we have the very ending. I didn't really talk too much about it because there really wasn't much to say. It's just a gnome that lives in people's mouths and angrily shouts at people. Nothing really there. I mean, it's not even really all that good of a concept of a cartoon. At least with the last one, Starbucks and Sydney, I think it was called, you could at least see a future developing from that. I don't see a future for this gnome character other than a one-shot gag.
Fuck you! We'll talk about it later!
So, at any rate, a bit of a mixed bag this time. A few ups, a few downs, a few goods, a few bads. But I'd say it's worth it just for the opening, if nothing else. So with that being said, we're the Cartoon Gentlemen, the organizers of chaos, Vintage Keeps. We're still waiting on that voting, because we haven't released the episode yet, as of recording this. So, see you next time.
And that's why we need to leave ASAP, or else he'll destroy us all!
So you thought he was gay, asked him out, and he flipped his shit and started trying to kill you? I don't know. That seems a little surface level to piss off someone like Frieza.
Does it really matter the reason? We should get on the ship and get out of here ASAP!
There you are! There's that filthy monkey who attacked me! That bastard! You grabbed my ass and then tried to go for my penis!
Whoa, that's not the story we were told. Kind of changes the category when that information is provided. Oh, come on now! He's a villain, he's probably over-exaggerating the situation.
Not true! Me and Jace saw the whole thing! This man sexually assaulted Lord Frieza! In broad daylight!
Is what they're saying true, Surfer?
Well, maybe from a certain point of view, or perhaps, maybe a different perspective, I would say yes.
Woo! Surfer, dude, you are fired.